This is how we were walking. Because I have a little limp on my hip, and it kind of hurts when I'm walking all the time.
It's hard enough for Sylvia Joseph to push her walker over a smooth hotel room floor. Now, picture the walker loaded with suitcases getting pushed alongside this highway at night. This is what happened to Sylvia and her adult son Roddy last week. It began a week ago when a Corman Park police officer pulled over the pair. It was around 8 o'clock on a Tuesday night. Now, Roddy was driving and he tested positive for cannabis in a roadside test. Under law, this triggers a mandatory 3-day suspension, so their car was impounded. Now, what happens next is what's disputed by the Corman Park Police and the Josephs.
Then all of a sudden that cop comes into the car and he's looking at me. You're going to have to pack your stuff and get out. Start walking or catch a cab. He says that to me, and then I said, what? Because your car's getting impounded.
Sylvia had no money for a taxi, and her sister in Saskatoon was not responding to texts or calls. She felt they had no choice but to walk.
I just felt ugly that I had to walk with my mother. It's unreal.
Okay, well, I'm going to go look at the body cam. And I told her.
Police Chief Ronald Choman says at no point did the officer suggest walking as an option. Choman says the officer advised them to call a taxi or someone to pick them up. He says it's Sylvia who decided to leave on foot.
And he said, so what is your plan? And she said, I'll walk. And she turned and walked away and went back to the car and started getting her stuff out.
Choman says the officer was wearing a body camera that captures audio and video. He cannot show the footage to CBC for legal and privacy reasons, but he says it supports the officer's version of events. The officer waited for a tow truck to retrieve the Joseph's vehicle. Then he drove south on the highway to check on Sylvia and Roddy. But by that point, Sylvia's sister had come to pick them up. Dan Zakreski, CBC News, Saskatoon.